Make it count.
No tomorrow?
We don't have tomorrow, but make sure that you learn Torah tomorrow. Learn Torah every single day. No, the whole yeshiva. In general, we don't have on Yom Chamishi. But learn as much as you can.
Wait, we have stuff on the schedule.
For sure, yeah. You guys have all day learning. Every single day you have to learn Torah. You can't go a day without Torah. Very, very important.
Such a good nap.
I'm so happy you enjoyed that. In order to learn more Torah.
Sleeping on the ground.
Baruch Hashem. That's it. It says in Pirkei Avos that if you want Torah, you have to be
Well rested.
Visually.
Well, the Mishnah says that you should mayim b'meshur mishteh. You should drink a little bit of water, pas b'melech toichal, some bread, salt. Ala aretz tishan, sleep on the floor. So, does that mean literally we should, get all the beds out of the moshav and only serve up bread and salt and water? Is that the meaning?
No canola. Sure.
It's probably going to be better without the seed oils, that's for sure.
Yeah,
But
seed oils.
down with yeah.
Down with seed oils.
No oil. So, does it mean that, or does it mean you need to be willing to do that? That's a simple meaning. You need to be willing to, in need-be situations, that I'm going to learn Torah, that, okay, it's not set up for me except just a spot on the floor, I'm doing it. All they had was bread and water, but I can go learn? Great. You don't need to do that, but you have to be willing in a need-be situation to do that. Because you'll give anything for Torah. Torah is everything. Learn. Torah, kihem chayenu. It's our life. The second part of the essence of Rosh Hashanah, which we said is Malchus, Zichroinus, and Shofros, is Zichroinus. That God remembers. The second theme is that God remembers. What does that mean, God remembers? Well, on one level it means God remembers. No, like that thing, like I'm sure nobody remembers about that incident. Well, God does. He remembers. No, like wasn't that like a long time ago? I'm sure it was like swept under the rug somewhere. Exactly. It's just under a rug. Just open the rug up and it's there. Yeah, God remembers. Which, by the way, is so deep. Because it means that everything is meaningful. You could take that as something like scary. Oh my goodness. Or you could actually be empowered with that idea. Is that the things that I do matter. That's why they're remembered. And I hope that they're significant. Won't you take your words so much more seriously if you know they're being remembered? If you say something and afterwards somebody says, oh, I was recording that. Oh my goodness, if I would have known. Well, what, you don't think your words matter? Oh, did you know someone was listening? First of all, it's not nice. Don't record somebody and, peek on somebody. But Hashem is saying, I am listening. Because it's showing you that your words matter. Yeah.
How does this interact with, if you learn a lot about, Teshuvah, and if, you return, you are no longer held accountable for what you, to use the bad translation, repented for. How do you interact with, God remembers that you did that, but, you're no longer accountable? How does that
You want to hear something deep? We're talking about remembering. So God remembers things. If you identify with yourself as the guy that, had the cheeseburger when nobody was looking, or the guy that, said the Lashon Hara, or the guy that, watched the things he shouldn't look at, or the guy that fill in the blank, so then God remembers that. But imagine you remember the way your soul looks like before it came down to this world and did any of those things. Imagine you remember that. Well, God also remembers that. So from that place of remembering, you are totally pure. You are totally pure. And this is called Teshuvah, because you're returning. You're not just returning to yourself before the sin. Imagine returning to yourself before your soul came down into this world. Return to the pristine essence of who you are, mitachas kisei hakavod, underneath the throne of glory. And when you can re-identify with that part that is the real you, God will also do that. And hear this well. When you return to your soul, is your soul bound by time and space? No. Your soul is beyond time and space. So if you can return to the place of your soul, which is absolutely pristine, absolutely pure. So what do you think the soul was doing, I don't know, 5 years ago at Mickey D's? The soul was looking for God, but it just got lost in the golden arches. Got lost. But your soul doesn't do averas. Your animal self does. Your instincts do. They pull you into animal behavior. But your soul is pure. So then you could start, this is the power of Teshuvah, turning all the things you did into mitzvahs. Because the soul was only looking for you, Hashem. Make it 100% clear. You can never do this l'chatchila. You can never initially say, well, I'm going to go eat some tray food and then do Teshuvah and then bada bing, bada boom, mitzvah.
You can't use Teshuvah as a loophole.
You can't use Teshuvah as a loophole. Because then you can't do Teshuvah, because Teshuvah became the way that you were trying to do the Avera. So how do you use the prosecutor as your defense attorney? Because they can't use the same guy. He say, well, Teshuvah, please, step forward to help this person. Well, Teshuvah is like, oh no, you're the reason I got into this. You're the prosecutor. He can't become a defense attorney. You get that? Ein kategor nasa sanegor. So don't pull this, I'm going to do the thing because don't worry, bro. It's Yom Kippur tomorrow. We're good. We're good. Here we come.
But,
fill in the blank. Don't do it. Yes.
what if you truly realize what a bad idea that was, and you truly come to regrets?
It's
Using the
a
Teshuvah.
lot of hard work. You got to really be so. If you're not crying at the kaisel, then I'm concerned that it's not enough. I mean, like weeping like a baby. That you use Teshuvah to try to. Don't worry, Yom Kippur is going to hook us up. You got to really feel that. And really be really straight up with Hashem. And own that. Say, Hashem, I want to be better. So zichroinus is I'm remembering who I am. I'm remembering, this is so deep, the way that my soul looked like before it came down to this world, which means I could start fixing past reincarnations. You could start fixing very deep things. Rosh Hashanah is a day of deep fixing. Deep fixing. So we think on a simple level, yeah, God doesn't forget. But go deeper. God also doesn't forget how pure you are before you came to this world. He does not forget that. Got to go deep. Zichroinus is, for me, sometimes in my musaf, I'll spend a lot of time in Zichroinus. Remember I told you guys about the Yisoid V'Sherish HaAvodah? He's got amazing stuff. In Zichroinus, you just, I think there's only a couple copies in the Yeshiva, but just buy whatever you can from Manny's or wherever, just have that sefer on your stender. I told you I spent years with that sefer on my Rosh Hashanah stender, and the Zichroinus part of it is it pulled me deep, deep, deep. Remember where you come from. Zichroinus on Rosh Hashanah is remember, this is the formation of us. Rosh Hashanah is the beginning of the whole story. It's the moment when the soul is given from God to man. You know how deep that is? So remember what your soul was looked like when it was wrapped up in the oneness of God. Before even God blew into the shofar called Adam, the soul into him. That's a deep stuff. Rosh Hashanah is a very deep day. Anybody who learned Rabbi Nachman with us, we were learning about you got to be by tzaddikim on Rosh Hashanah, because Rosh Hashanah is going all the way back to your mind, deep, deep, all the way back. The deepest thoughts. So it's a very deep day of remembering. Remember things, deep things. Don't remember, you don't talk about sin on Rosh Hashanah. Not one mention. It's nothing to do with that. It's like coming to the king's ceremony, the king's coronation. And, you're like, golden arches. The king's like, that's not, you're by the coronation here.
The golden arches almost sound holy when you, golden arches.
That's how they get you.
Yeah, that's how they get you.
That's how they get
you in the door.
That's right. That's why marketing is a multi-quadrillion dollar, if that's even a number, industry. Because they know how to get you. And it works. So you have to outsmart, even though it's very hard. But you have a godly soul which has the ability to beat the system. But you have to tap into the godly soul. So on Rosh Hashanah, you're coming to Hashem and you're saying to the king's going to look you in the eyes. On Rosh Hashanah, remember, you're being judged. It says, Kol b'nei olam oivrim lefanav keb'nei morim. All of the people of the world come before the king, keb'nei morim. A few meanings what that means. One is like sheep going through an opening in a gate, where all these sheep are about to run through the gate, but only one sheep could fit in through the exit of the gate at a time. So every single sheep, right when they get to the gate, it gets narrow, and one comes at the time. Hashem just looks at a person. The Arizal says the moment that a person cries on Rosh Hashanah, has a chill down your spine, or like you start crying, especially try to cry. Crying on Rosh Hashanah is very healthy for your soul. That's the moment of the judgment. It's like you're the sheep, and then Hashem looks in your eyes. Now that moment He's looking in your eyes, what are you thinking? So you want to have zichroinus, you want to remember, as you're looking in the king's eyes, I am a soul. And my soul wants you to be the king. Okay, that's the technology. And you know what the call of that is? The shofar. That's the scream of this. I'm a soul and I want you to be the king. And I want to join you again. And long live the king, because you're going to make your presence known to the whole world. That's it. Malchias, Zichroinus, and Shofras. Zichroinus is very deep. I'm remembering. And the king also remembers. So when you look in the king's eyes, and there's like a moment where he catches your eye. And you ever meet somebody and you're like, I feel like this person's like an old soul. They have this expression out there. He's like, you connect on like older things. Like the stuff of the world, they're already past like the formalities. It's like you remember each other from something. So if you can lock in with the king, and you're basically looking at the king and you're like, you know where I come from, king. You know what I want, which is you. I come from you and I just want you. That's zichroinus. And the king will remember that. He'll catch your eye and he'll say, I know that. But a person who's not doing that, he's like, on the superficial levels, that, the king doesn't forget. If the guys did stuff this year, the king looks in your eyes like, I know what you did. So you want to go deep, back. It's such therapy. Rosh Hashanah is like the deepest day of therapy. Whatever your therapy bill could be, invest in Rosh Hashanah. I'm telling you, invest in Rosh Hashanah. Like mega invest in Rosh Hashanah. It's so deep. It's crazy deep. Rosh Hashanah. Yeah.
So you said we're not supposed to be sad. Or did you say that?
Not sad on Rosh, for sure not. The king's coronation. Some sad guy in the corner is like, what's he doing? It's my corner. It's a very exciting, happy day.
Why are we supposed to be sad during Slichot?
A Jew is never sad. A Jew is never depressed.
Right.
A Jew is never depressed. Sad. A Jew also doesn't get sad. A Jew gets heartbroken. Because when you break your heart, you crack it open and you start to feel. Heartbroken is good. Because when the heart breaks, it means that there was some shell on top of it. You broke open the heart and now it could feel finally. It was blocked by something. You had to crack the shell. Now you could feel. Like the Kotzker Rebbe said, there's nothing more whole than a broken heart. That's why sometimes when you feel broken-hearted, you start feeling more complete at that moment. Broken-heartedness is very, very deep. So you could be broken-hearted, but Rosh Hashanah is not even that. That's not the power of Rosh Hashanah. The power of Rosh Hashanah is what we're talking about. Malchus, Zichronis, and Shofars. Malchus is the desire to reconnect to you, the king. Zichronis, the essence of who I am, is pure and wants to connect to you. And the shofar is the call of my soul. And as the shofar is calling that voice to you, Hashem, I want to reconnect to you, then Hashem, the king, says, I'm going to now give you all the blessing for the year. And all the shofar blasts are just a system of bringing blessing deeper, deeper, deeper into this world. That's why we do so many shofar blasts. It's a whole technology. And you open the Kabbalah books, it's all about a system of bringing blessing to the world, like we said, creating the DNA of all the bracha and the shefa and the goodness that you'll have in this world. You should be happy on Rosh Hashanah, but not lightheaded. Because if you got some guy at the coronation of the king who's like, cracking jokes and just scrolling through his whatever, then the king's like, it's a bit inappropriate. Like you're like somehow missing it. Therefore, the best thing is to be as involved in the vibes of Rosh Hashanah as possible. At every level. The simplest is totally be involved in the davening. The more that you could get ready, open your machzor. You guys should own a machzor. Spend the whole month. I'm bringing my machzor in every single day. You should own a machzor. Have a machzor. Not think like when you get, Friday, you're just going to come to shul after a shower and you're like, is there like books that we use for this day, You already now, you're writing notes, you're thinking, you're owning it. You can take these notes that you guys are writing into Rosh Hashanah. Like, be ready for the entirety of the experience. When the singing is happening, sing. At the coronation of the king, the greatest thing is that there's unification in the vision. If everyone's singing and showing just like the majesty of the king, and there's one guy like, so one of the ministers goes over like, what's up? He's like, I don't sing. What's up with you? Like, we're at the coronation, like, Like, that person at that time is like making it all about him. And everyone around is like, it's about the king. It's about the vision of the king. When we're talking about the king, it's Hashem. It's about Hashem. So the more Rosh Hashanah could be not about me, but about the vision of peace in the world. Everything we've been learning about Malchus, of God revealing himself to the whole world, healing the world. That should be like, I'm showing up today because I want that. What am I signing up for? I'm a proud card-carrying member of Peace for Humanity. That's what today is all about. That's definitely something to rally around. You excited? You want to rally around peace for humanity? That's Rosh Hashanah. So that's what you're singing about. So the guy's like, whatever, I don't sing. Like, why aren't you excited for peace for humanity? No, I am, but so then the sages gave us thousands of years of a technology of how to bring the peace for humanity. It's called the entire Rosh Hashanah davening. The whole thing is designed for unification of consciousness by us to bring that outcome. So there's a big part of Rosh Hashanah, just show up to the day. Show up to the day. Very important, don't sleep on Rosh Hashanah. You can sleep at night. If you're really conked out, then in the afternoon, you can maybe take a little rest, but better not, ideally. Unless you're really conked out, then it's fine. But don't fall asleep in shul. Whatever you do, just jump up and down. Because the sages say that a person who falls asleep on Rosh Hashanah, he's going to be sleeping throughout the year. And remember, 1 hour on Rosh Hashanah is weeks of your year. Which means if a person says, like, I had like this 3-week stretch during the year that was like a bit like wonky. It wasn't like exactly, I wasn't on my A game. Well, it could be that there was, an hour on Rosh Hashanah that you were just, blah. And by the way, blah equals sleeping. Because any person who doesn't use their time wisely is like they're called sleeping. Why aren't you being productive? By the way, sleeping at night when you're supposed to sleep is productive because you need energy for the next day. But you're awake now. You're just blah. You're just being blah. So that's like being asleep. You don't want to be sleeping during the year. As much as you can on Rosh Hashanah, just be productive. Productive. Make yourself needed by the people around you as much as possible. How else can you do that? Be a super giver on Rosh Hashanah. There's going to be nice meals. Be the guy that brings the flakshiks to the table. Be the guy that can I pour you another cup of water? Be the one that's helping other people out. They usually serve up geschmacka flakshiks. Don't overeat on Rosh Hashanah, whatever you do. It's a bad idea. Remember my words right now. They're going to probably have some marbled meats coming out. And everyone's going to go, oh, don't get lost in the sauce, Chevra. Don't get lost in the sauce. Everyone's going to try can I move that cow onto my plate? No, don't do that. Have a little bit, it's Yom Tov, but just see beyond this fleshik, on your plate. That's what happens. The meat comes out, everyone's microscopic vision. The world just ever notice in burger joints, everyone everyone's a bit intense. Don't get too meat oriented. Stay away from the meat at these mega meat levels. Okay? So we have a funny term. Don't be a meathead. It's get all meat. Don't be so meaty. Okay? Why?
Yeah,
well, a person...
Besides for not bloating yourself.
Well, that itself is a big reason not to on Rosh Hashanah. Okay. You don't have time. You can't afford to have off time. Right. You cannot afford that. You have to have a productive evening. You have to wake up early. Davening starts early. So it's not one of these days they bring out the meats. You go for an all-you-can-eat, situation. And you're I know tomorrow, it's a late wake up. I get it. We're going for it tonight. Because tomorrow's basically being written off as I'm going for it. You get what I'm saying? You literally, just practically, there's no time for that. You cannot do that. You can't afford it. Your whole year depends on it. So you can't be in these situations at all. Never no drinking. Have this much wine and nothing else. No drinking, a little bit of meat, a tiny bit. Besides the fact of the meat energy, that's a bad vibe to have on Rosh Hashanah. Just being they're just all this meat, and again this thing bro, how many pieces did you take? Which happens when a portion is put on a table for 10 guys. So you don't want to be that guy that you're into how many pieces did you have? You're looking at people. Just completely leave that already now. You will have a piece of meat. It will be okay.
Then why do we serve all this food?
It's Yom Tov. It's Yom Tov. Rosh Hashanah is a day you need to be a master. You need to be a master. So it's going to be the best fleishiks. Have one piece. Already now, you have to pump yourself up with this because it's going to be served. It's going to be everything is totally with honey, sweet. Everything's delicious, sweet. Just have a little bit. So Rosh Hashanah is everything is very mega on Rosh Hashanah. An absolute consciousness. So be careful with eating in a conscious way. My friends, it should be the best Rosh Hashanah of your entire life. The best Rosh Hashanah of your entire life, filled with so much meaning, filled with Malchus. Hashem, you're the King. I want to return to you. Zichroinus. I'm remembering how deep I am, my soul. And that my soul wants you. And the shofar is the cry of my soul to you. And I want you to fill the world, Hashem, with goodness, with blessing, with prosperity. This is Rosh Hashanah. Get ready now. Get pumped up. Use these next few days as total purification days. Spend these next days, if somebody's offering you, like, we were going to go clubbing in Tel Aviv, like, tomorrow, tonight. 2 words. Don't go. That's all I have to say about that. B'siyat d'shmaya. All of humanity should have an amazing Rosh Hashanah. All of humanity should know that all we want, Hashem, is for you to reveal yourself for all of humanity, for the whole world, to see the blessing, the goodness, the coming Mashiach and peace in the whole world, and everyone to bring out their absolute potential and great, great powers that Hashem gave them. We should know that everything comes from you, Hashem. We should feel the open goodness. For us, your Torah should fill the world. And we should know that the great wisdom and knowledge of Hashem should fill the world like the waters cover the sea. And we should mamish have the binyan beis hamikdash b'mehera v'yameinu. Amen. Aksiv v'chsim tovah, good gebench shir shana tova metuka. Kol tov, my friends.